Okay. Hi, Rich.
Hello.
Would you like to go ahead and give your introduction?
Sure, I appreciate it. Well, first of all, thank you for giving me the opportunity to make this presentation, and I'm very excited about again running for the board. Just like to give you a little bit of my background. First of all, we've lived in Bridgewater now for about 5 years, and I'm married to my spouse, Andrea, for 52 years, and I have 4 children and 6 grandkids. I have a PhD in education, a master's degree in professional accountancy. I was an educator, a building administrator, and a business manager for a school district. And in my final 8 years of working prior to retiring, I was superintendent of schools. And as superintendent, I provided leadership in ensuring students to become productive citizens within the community. I worked with boards of education to develop programs for student success, and I needed a supportive community to participate within the community. I served as a member and officer of the Garden City Chamber of Commerce, and I was also, and still am, a member of the Garden City Rotary. I was also a board member and officer of the Michigan Association Insurance Trust. Basically, the insurance trust was a conglomeration of school districts where we formed a group to provide group insurance for everybody at a cheaper rate. And it initially began with 8 members and grew to over 20 members within a 10-year period. I was successful in passing or having passed 3 millage or bond issues during my tenure. Currently, I serve again as a site board member, and I'm a member of the finance committee. I sing in the chorus, and at times I have led karaoke for Irish songs. So,
Fantastic. Can you tell us what past experiences you have working as a committee member or working with a group to solve and create positive solutions to issues throughout communities?
okay, first of all, as a site board member and a finance committee member, we constantly work and we meet and to develop solutions for the betterment of the community. We meet regularly and we talk about problems and issues that needed to be solved, whether it's financial or whether it's other areas within the community where we have needs. We receive input from the community, and I'm very interested in transparency. In other words, I like to let people know what we're doing and how we're doing it. And so it's very important that the communication between the community members and the board continues or improves. I'm also am a member of the Sugarloaf board. Really, what it is years ago, about 20 years ago, Sugarloaf became insolvent, so to speak, and so the resort closed down. And so we had a controversy between the owners of the group where I am and the HOA. And what we did is we felt that we needed a more cohesive community that met our needs. So what we did is we split from the HOA and formed our own homeowners association. And we have 7, it's a smaller community. We only have 72 units within our community. I am currently a co-manager for the board. There are 3 of us, and 3 of us take special areas to work on during the year. We also have a board of about 10 people that are active, and we meet periodically. So that's what we were interested in. We were interested in a more active involvement in the management of the community. And by increasing communication, or wanting to increase communication, what we decided to do is we decided to have building reps. We have 8 buildings, and each building had its own building rep. One problem we had was that our deed of restrictions for the community required 100% approval for any major renovations for the buildings. And we were successful in getting 100% of all of our members to not only what do you want to call it, resurface or reside all of our buildings, but also we had an issue with the well, and so we got 100% approval to build a new well, and that new well is now 2 years old and it's operating fantastically. Any members all members, I should say, are informed of potential capital improvements, and we have an opportunity for discussion of the items at our meetings. Most projects are financed through member dues, and again, the main project that we had recently was the well system, where it cost us somewhere in the vicinity of $600,000 to $700,000, and each one of those members agreed on an assessment so we could have a better water system.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Also, I'm a chorus chairperson, and I work with the officers in the music committee to plan our concerts. We seek input at meetings, and I've developed a survey to survey all the members of our chorus to see what would be of interest to them and what kind of music they would like to have. I am currently, again, a member of the Garden City Rotary. I'm also president and treasurer of that group.
Okay.
I think I covered it.
I think you did. What qualities do you believe a neighborhood representative should embody and bring to the board in order to create and promote a harmonious community relationship?
First of all, it's very important that an individual have the ability to communicate. And not only to communicate, but also to respond in a timely manner to members of the community that may have concerns or that just have questions. And a board member needs to come with an open mind and be able to look at both sides of the story. Also, he needs to understand the financial structure of the HOA, because we do have a fiduciary responsibility to ensure that the association is fiscally responsible through sound budget preparation, manage and oversee the financial transactions, and periodically report to members of the community the financial status of the organization. And we recently have done that by posting a financial report. We're going to be posting the financial report monthly so members of the community can look at it. It's a summary. It's not in line by line, but it's a summary which would give members of the community a good idea of how we stand. Also, since Pulte has left, we have an increased responsibility in the management of the day-to-day operation of the community. And that means working with the management system, with the management company and the board to ensure that the operations meet the expectations not only of the board, but of the community. And this is a desirable and a great place to live. Also, a board member needs to be educated in terms of understanding the duty owed to the association, and the owners are more likely to exercise reasonably prudent judgment in actions that serve the best interests of the association. And one other thing is the buck stops here, and whether people like a decision or not, and just a matter of that the board member is making a decision not for himself or herself, but for the good of the community.
All right. What do you consider the greatest challenge for your individual community at the present time? And how would you resolve this challenge?
Well, one of the problems in our community anyway is that a number of the homes and the areas were built over 12 years ago. And so things are either overgrown, some of the roads may be fixed, the sidewalks maybe need to be repaired, and those things. And so that is a big challenge because, number one, it costs money, okay? And so what we do is, what I would like to do would be develop a plan to take a look at what those needs are for the community, and especially in those areas where we have where the homes are older and the development is older and a lot of things are overgrown. So develop a plan And obviously we can't do it all at one time, but if we look at a 3 to 5 year plan and working to try and improve the community so it looks park-like, like it was originally planned. The other challenge that I have is that we do have issues with things going on in the sites, okay, like the age of the sidewalks, the roads, etc. And one concern that I have is that community members can't complain to one another to try and solve a problem. That becomes counterproductive. And what I'd like to see is more improved communication on our part, but also an improved communication on the community members' part to bring up those issues to us, rather than complaining to their neighbors, and then we don't know what the complaints are unless we know, unless we're actually told, so we can do something about it.
Okay. Under what circumstances do you believe that a special assessment to the community is necessary?
First of all, special assessments should not be taken lightly, okay? Just because we think that we need something, they say, well, we could just add $50 a month to the monthly dues, then that would be okay. In terms of special assessment, first thing would be an emergency type situation, okay? And the thing I could say is, let's say we had some severe weather and we had a number of trees that knocked down, we had floods, maybe sewage or whatever. And all that would not be covered by the reserve fund. And so when that happens, obviously, in order to improve the situation, you would need to have some kind of a special assessment. The other thing is, and I put this down over here, would be physical improvements that are not covered by the reserve. And what I said in the last question is talking about developing a plan, is that when there are physical improvements that we would like to see done that are not necessarily covered by the reserve fund, what we need to do is we need to develop a list of priorities, and then develop an expenditure plan, or a spending plan over the next, let's say, 1 to 5 years or 3 to 5 years or whatever it might be. And if that means maybe increasing the dues by a certain number of dollars, $5, $10, whatever it might be, we have to make sure, number one, that we have strong community support for these improvements, and secondly, that we don't financially overburden members of the community, okay? So then those are the two areas where I can see, number one, an emergency type situation, and number two, when we're looking at some physical improvements that we would like to see have done that are not necessarily covered by our reserve account, and to develop a plan so we don't financially overburden the members of the community.
Okay. And what are 3 physical improvements you would like to see at Bridgewater as a whole?
Okay.
And what will you do to see them accomplished?
Okay. Again, because we have, we're 12 years old, a couple of things that I see, but well, first of all, even before I say that, it's not necessarily what I see, but what the community sees as needs, okay? And from what I get from members of the community is, first of all, our lodge needs some updating, and that may be furniture, it may be painting, it may be other kinds of improvements that are not necessarily, again, covered by our reserve account. Regarding the lodge improvements, also with our large community we have, or the growing community that we have, and now that we're up to 600 and plus homes, when we have functions, it's very difficult to hold a function within the lodge to accommodate all the people that want to attend. And so what's happened is that some of our functions have been off-site, but what I would like to see is maybe something that could accommodate larger groups for a variety of activities at one time. And one area that I think was mentioned, or somebody had mentioned, was looking at improving the patio so that you actually have additional space for 3 seasons. Obviously, you're not going to have anything in the winter, but you could have space for 3 seasons where you could have one function outside and maybe one function on the inside, or if you have a large function, it would accommodate both areas. And finally, we need to look at the amenities that are currently here. And I know there's some issues with some of the athletic facilities and some of the areas in the park. And obviously we can't expand on those amenities, but we certainly can make some improvements on that. But what this does is that we have to, again, develop a plan, a 3 to 5 year plan, whatever it might be, and either have it built into our regular operational budget, maybe use a little bit out of the reserve money if there is reserve money available for those particular needs. And again, if it does amount to maybe a slight increase in the assessment, there would need to be strong community support for that. But there are various things that we can do, I'm sure, that we could work within the operating budget at the current time.
Okay.
That's it.
Any final thoughts?
Well, I'm happy to run again. I'm encouraged. I love this community, and I am willing to put out my heart into making this the best Pulte, Bridgewater community that they've ever had. And again, I am so interested in keeping our community in a park-like setting to make it beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rich.